Hey guys, today's video is about quantifying your points of distinction. Well, what does that mean? Many of us have a tremendous amount of tools and resources available that we offer to our real estate agents in our companies. And it's always our objective to continually increase and bring in more value, because the more value we can bring, the more retention and loyalty we can expect and demand from our agents. And when we're recruiting an agent, however, the question is, how do we quantify the value that we offer? And how do we sell value and stop selling price? One of the biggest challenges I see with real estate brokers right now is they always are selling price. They're always worried about their competitors, what they're charging, what their comp plans are, and they always feel that they need to compete against the price because that's the only thing real estate agents usually bring up. When you're contacting an agent on the phone, one of the first questions they ask is, well, what is your commission plans? Well, what's your commission split? A response that I would give to that question today would be, I don't have commission splits, I have compensation programs. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, I'm glad you asked. Why don't we come get together, come into my office and we'll meet, or we'll get together at a coffee shop. You see, I would never discuss commission splits on a phone call. That would be the biggest no-no. That is not what you want to do. You want to talk about your compensation program. A compensation program isn't just about commission splits. That's just how the financial model works. A compensation program talks about your value proposition. So let's talk about that. What's your value proposition? And in this short video, I'm just going to talk specifically about quantifying your points of distinction. Now let's be clear, a point of distinction means you've got something that other people don't. And you need to be clear about that, and you need to be able to articulate that, and you want to also be able to quantify that. So let me give you an example of what I mean by quantifying your points of distinction. First and foremost, realize all real estate agents are different. Not everything is as important to one as it is to another. So part of the interview process obviously is to ask a lot of questions and find out what their hot buttons are. So once you've determined that and you've figured that out, now you can point to the value proposition that you have. So, and again, when you're talking about getting those questions, that's usually right here in the first stage of the 5-point agenda, which is about you. Tell me about yourself, what makes you tick, how you do your business, do you track your business, do you have a business plan, what kind of training do you get, what kind of training do you like, what are you missing, what do you like about your broker, what don't you like about your broker, and just sit back, take down the answers, write them down, and listen, and don't try to sell. Once you've determined from that discussion what it is that's important to them, then you can start quantifying or pointing to a specific value proposition that you have that's different, a differentiation and quantifying. So here's what I mean. So if an agent said to me through this discussion and all these questions, I found out that, hey, they believe a business plan is important to them. I would have said to them, why do you feel that way? If somebody was to hold you accountable to a business plan, to your goals, do you feel you would generate more business? So what I would first of all do is I would start off with defining how much is a transaction worth. So for instance, let's say the average sale price of a home is $200,000, the average commission per end is 3%. That means the average GCI or gross commission income per end is $6,000. So let's just start off with, first of all, asking them that question. That's where I would start. What do you believe is your average sale price? What is your average commission per end? Because I want to quantify that right up front. Now I'm going to get into the value proposition that I believe has really resonated with them. Now at the Profit Center, we're really big on business planning and the accountability, and what you measure gets improved. So let's say during the conversation, we asked them, hey, do you feel a business plan is important to you? And let's say they said, yes, absolutely. And so how I would work this in is I'd say, okay, so let me start off with this. If you had a business plan that looks like this, and you would show them your collateral material, here's how we do it, here's how we track it, this is the way we process it, and I would be personally walk you through this process. I will keep you accountable to it every month and keep you like a coach and keep you accountable to your goals. Now, would you agree with me that if I did that for you and with you, that you would generate more business, yes or no? So notice how I framed the question. I asked them, do you feel it's important? Do you feel you'd bring more value to you? Do you think you'd generate more business, yes or no? If they said yes, I would then quantify it this way. Say, how many additional transactions do you think you would generate if I was able to give you this process? I will step you through it one step at a time. I will keep you accountable to it on a regular basis. I will track your metrics. I will show your goals versus actual on a regular basis. Would you agree with me? You generate more deals, yes or no? So if the answer is yes, then you would say, how many additional transactions do you think you could generate if you had that in your corner, if you had me keeping you accountable and really being serious about helping you in your business? Let's say they gave the answer of 5. Let's say 5 transactions. So just with that alone, what we can see here, and we can do this with every value proposition you feel is applicable to their situation, what they feel is important to them, and then with that, you can adding up all these different numbers of transactions. Now, even with just that one quantification of one item, $6,000 per transaction, 5 transactions, that's $30,000 additional revenue to the agent. $30,000. Here's the crazy thing. Why are we competing on price? Why are we emphasizing the fact that maybe we're $1,000 or $2,000 more expensive a year? It's ridiculous. You know what I would say to an agent at this point? He says, I got good news and bad news. Do you want to hear it? The bad news is it may cost you a couple grand more to work here, but the good news, you'll make an extra $30,000, so you only get to keep 28. Is that okay with you? See, guys, it's so ridiculous when we're talking about nickels and dimes. If you truly are about value, then you need to charge for it, and you need to also sell it. And you need to do this on a regular basis, not just with a brand new recruit, also with the agents in your office on an ongoing basis. You need to constantly sell your value proposition, but you sell it by quantifying it. So this is your quick tip on how to quantify points of distinction. I hope you enjoyed this video. Look forward to speaking to you again. This is Peter Mueller signing off, wishing you all a profitable day.